Hi friends, welcome to my sewing room. Today we're going to make a simple bib. I've used some flannel fabric for mine. It's reversible. You can try other fabrics as well. I'm using flannel today. These are my supplies. I have some fabric. This is going to be for my pattern. It's just a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I have some black rickrack for a little decoration on the front. I have a strip of fabric cut the width of the fabric. It's only 1.5 inches wide. And some pins. First we'll start by drawing our pattern, and we're just going to hand draw it. This is a bib. Don't worry too much about your lines. I just draw a couple of curved lines on each corner of the paper after I fold it in half, and then I'm going to put it next to the lines on my cutting board, and down 1 inch I'm going to do a half circle about 2.5 or 3 inches long, and then I'm going to trim this off. I'm not being too exact. This is just a bib. Open it up and see if that looks alright. I think my hole could be just a little bit bigger, so I'm going to cut that just a tiny bit wider. That's better. And then I'm going to cut right here at the top. Snip right on that fold. That is going to be our bib pattern. So the pieces of fabric that you need are just a little bit bigger than a normal size piece of paper. And I have this cute fabric for a little boy. It has some trucks on it. And I'm going to put it right sides together. I'm going to take my pattern and put it on there. And this fabric has the word trucks, and I think I'm going to try to get that word in there. So I laid it right there on my fabric. You can pin it now and cut around, or you can take a marking. This is a chalk marker and draw around. I think I'm going to just put a couple pins in here and try to cut around my pattern. If you want, you can make your bib a little bit longer than that piece of paper. And typically, I will cut somewhere outside of that paper. It can be a little bit bigger. I'm kind of constrained by that piece of paper to draw the pattern, but we can make it bigger. And I'm going to go right across here. And then we're going to cut through here, and then I'm going to cut that little circle out. All right. There's my bib. Take your pins out. And I'm going to look at it. Oh, look at that. The little sign is right there in the middle. And then I had some black rickrack I thought I would decorate. This pink one is really cute. It's got fabric and rickrack on the front piece. So you can do whatever you want to decorate the front. This little black rickrack, I think I'm going to put it down there. Where should I put it? Right there in the middle? Or right here on this, for this truck to drive on. I think I'm going to put it right there along the bottom. And I'm going to put maybe 1 or 2 pins in there to keep it steady. Alright, let's sit at the machine. You're going to want probably to have matching thread. I do not have matching thread in my machine right now. That's okay. All right. Our black rickrack is on. Now we need ties. We need to make the ties. And I had that ready to go. Here's my 1.5 inch wide strip of fabric. It's about 24 inches long. Each tie will be 10 to 12 inches. So I have this long piece of fabric. I have already pressed it in half. Then I opened it up and I pressed this side in and I pressed this side in. So I actually have 3 pressed lines, so that when I go to my machine I can just fold it all up together and the raw edges are inside. So let's sew this all together in one long strip. You do not need to use fabric for your ties. You can use a bias tape that you purchase. You can use a cotton twill tape. I'm sure there's other things you could use to tie the bib closed. I seem to have a lot of fabric, so that's what I'm going to use today. All right. And the ends of my ties are not going to be finished. They're just going to be raw edges. I think that's fine. It gets kind of bulky when you tie in the edge, so you just cut it at an angle at the end of your tie when it's on the bib. So I'm going to cut this in half. It should be about 10 or 12 inches. I'm going to take the front of my bib and I'm going to pin one tie right here with it hanging out just a little bit right there. Take the next tie and do the same thing on the other side. Then with the ends of these, I want these inside because I'm going to be putting the front and backs together and I don't want these guys to get in my way. So let's see if they'll stay right there. You can pin this right here if you want, but then your pin is inside and sometimes it's tricky to turn it right side out. All right, put your front and backs together. There we go, that's better. The black and white is kind of hard to tell which is the front and which is the back. Put the edges together all the way around, a few pins. And this last piece. All right, there it is. Hope you can see everything. I've got right sides together and I need to leave an opening, and in my bib I'm going to leave an opening right here on the bottom. You could also leave an opening on the side, one of the straight edges there. So let's start right there and go all the way around. About 1/4 inch, it could be a little bit bigger just to make sure you get all the edges in. Stop right here when you get to the end of the top there. I'm going to move my pin. You need to go over that tie, get that secured, and then let's go around the neck. Okay, and now I need to stop. I'm going to backstitch just a little bit right there. Take the pins out And before you turn it right side out, there's one thing you need to do. Sometimes I forget. Trim right around the neck. Little clips up to your sewn seam. Not too close because you don't want to make a hole. And that will help it lay flat when you turn it right side out. Okay, reach inside. And let's try to turn this right side out. Got a couple pins I need to remove here. And I'm going to take a bamboo skewer. That's always handy in my sewing room. And I'm going to push everything out. When I've got everything pushed out, I'm going to walk over to my ironing board and I'm going to press it. Actually, I'm going to ask you to do that because I'm going to just keep moving ahead here. Something's funny right here. Feels like a pin. Yep, we got a pin hiding in there. Ah, there you are. Okay, good. I was hoping my seam wasn't wrong. Okay, I'm just going around with that bamboo, making it all nice and smooth. Okay, now you have this open end, and if you're walking over to your ironing board, it's a good idea to have that folded in. Let's press the whole thing and then bring it back to the machine, and starting at the top on the outside, we're going to sew a little seam all the way around. Right on the edge. This is that open area right here, so we want to make sure everything's together and nice and straight. Okay, we closed it up. And I'm going to come right over here. If you want to secure this a little bit more, you can go down over that area where the tie is inside. That'll secure that a little bit more. Maybe I'll do it on this side too, so the tie doesn't come out later. We don't know how long these are going to be used, how often they're going to be used, how often they're going to be washed. Alright, and there is our bib. Thanks for joining me today in my sewing room. Hope I'll see you next time.